All right, we're going to get started with the candy corn quilt shop, and it's going to be adorable. So I have all my fabric here cut and ready to go, as well as the prepared dimensional pennants that we just did. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a piece of stabilizer. So you need a piece of stabilizer that is going to be bigger than the hoop. So I have a piece of cutaway hair and a 5x7 hoop. And I'm just going to go ahead and hoop the stabilizer only. The instructions for this do call for a cutaway stabilizer, a medium cutaway stabilizer, but I found that the tearaway's been fine, and I really love using tearaway if I can. I don't think the stitch count has been out of control, and my embroideries have been coming out pretty perfect, so I'm just going to stick with the tearaway. Let's come on over to the machine. I'm going to just go ahead and put this in. Let's load our design. And we are going to do the candy corn quilt shop, and that is going to be this one right here that has the 2 windows on the top. And let's set that. Let's prepare our fabric. I have a feeling we're going to be folding like we folded the rest of ours. So it says right here to fold the background fabric in half, right sides together, create a center fold, and then we're going to fold an inch up. So I'm going to take this and put it next to the machine. And I'm going to take my fabric. I'm going to fold it in half. And then it does want us to fold an inch up, so I'm just going to use my hot ruler. You could use a clear ruler. You could measure up an inch and then just go back. I'm just going to pop this out and fold it over an inch. Okay. So I'm going to take it to the machine, fold it over this way, and then fold it over this way. And then it's ready to lay down because we're going to do that placement stitch. So let's go over to the machine. I already have a neutral color in here from the pennants. So I'm just going to leave that color. The first thing it's going to do is just the placement stitch. So I'm just going to let it go. Here are my little pennants from before. Aren't they so cute? A piece of tape is here from before too. All right, so our stitch is done. Now we're going to go ahead and lay down our fabric. I think you're getting used to this because this is what we've done on all of them. Okay, and you're going to tape it down into place. It's going to stitch a tack down. And I'm just going to lay my hand here. This is a basting stitch, so this is going to get removed. I'm just going to make sure the fabric stays nice and smooth and that there's no bubbles. There's no pushing of the fabric or anything like that. So that was step 2. We're on step 3 right now. Step 3 is going to be stitch the house placement line. And color doesn't matter, so I'm just going to leave it the same. And then you're looking for your purple fabric. This is what I have. I'm going to go ahead and spray this. It was a little substitution. It was so hard to get the fabrics for this pillow. I think on top of everything, on top of having the pandemic, supply chain has not And I think demand too. I think this has been an extremely popular project. Okay, I'm just going to leave my thread in. It just says thread doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead. This is going to be the tack down. And then we're going to trim close to the line. So it's just been hard to get stuff. It's been a challenge. Go ahead and trim this close to the line. I'm so impatient. Sometimes I just start trimming before it even has finished cutting. All right. Next thing is going to be the placement line for the roof. So I'm just going to leave in my same color. And the roof fabric's going to be the black, gray, and white striped fabric. So this is what you're looking for. I'm going to give that a little shot of spray. Okay, let's lay that down. This is step 6. This is going to be the tack down, and then we're going to trim. For your next step, color is going to matter. So grab your black thread. So we are in step 7. This is the dormer placement line. So I'm going to put my black in. I tried to tidy up my thread because when I finished my last embroidery, I thought, wow, my thread's out of control here. So I have most of my colors up on my 10 thread spool stand right now. Excuse me. I have this huge piece left over from the last embroidery, Broomhilda's Bakery. So I think I'm going to use these for my for these windows or the dormers. Otherwise, you should have cut a piece that is 4 by 2.5 inches. So it looks like it's going to do this one first. I'm going to just, I'm just going to place this. And this is going to get trimmed 1/8 of an inch. So you need to have a little bit of a seam allowance, or, you know, some distance around. I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to stop and cut, and then I'm going to do the next one. So if you ever want to, you know, trim in between, you can just hit your stop button. Whoops, let me put it up. We're doing 1/8 of an inch. So there's one. I'm going to slide this back on, do the other one. Go ahead and, let's see. Is it wide enough this way? Nope. I'll just go ahead and do it this way. And heat up your iron. And get your pressing cloth, because we are going to go ahead after we have these trimmed. We're going to press these just to make sure they are going to be more secure. Okay, let's take this over to our iron. I've got my pressing cloth right here. My iron's still heating up a little bit. So we're going to just go ahead, adhere the glitter to the fabric, and then we're going to go back and work on the windows. I'm ready now. Remember, 15 to 20 seconds is the recommendation. I probably do 10. And you just want to make sure your iron is not resting on the inside of your hoop. Okay? There we go. Let's get back over to our machine. I really need to oil this arm. And it says to do a neutral color. So I'm going to go ahead and change back out. You know, it's going to be the windows, and those are in yellow. So instead of just changing to a neutral color, I'm just going to go ahead and change it to yellow right now. It's yellow for the windows, and then it is it yellow for the door too? And it's yellow for the door. So I'm just going to go put the yellow in. See if I can. There we go. And the fabric you're going to grab is, you should have this fabric right here. That's going to be next. These will get trimmed right to the stitch. I'm just going to give it a little shot of spray. Looks like it wants to do this one first. I'm barely going to use any of that. I'm gonna stitch and trim and then stitch and trim. Look at what a tiny little piece you need. Here we go. And that was step 9 and 10. We're going to trim this, trim it close to the stitch. Right. And then it wants us to stitch the first floor window placement line. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to be the same fabric. You should have a piece that looks like this, a separate piece. But I'm just going to use this one. That'll be plenty. This is left over for my top 2 windows. And this is the step 14, or I'm sorry, this is step 12, stitch the front floor window tack down line. I think this is the last of the big embroideries that I have left to do for this pillow. There's going to be 2 more trees. I love the snips because they let you get in so nice and close. Mine are getting a little gunky. So I have to clean these off at some point. Okay, next thing's going to be the door placement line. And the door is going to be in black. And it does tell you to do a neutral color, but I'm just going to change my thread out to black right now. And then I won't have to change it out to later. And I won't have any yellow peeking through. So I'm going to put my black in. Slide my hoop back on. I'm going to grab the fabric. Here, you're doing the scattered dots. I gotta go this way. So let me go ahead. This is going to get trimmed right to the stitch too. So when I'm doing these Kimberbell quilts and I am not filming and I'm just doing them for me, I rarely cut my applique pieces. I just lay my fabric down and then I trim them. And I find I have so much fabric left over. I usually use whatever's left over to do the backing. So whatever's left over for this, I'll use it to do the back of the pillow. is normally what I do. Okay, so next what we have to do is stitch the signpost satin stitch. So that was, we are on step 15 right now. It's going to come off the top of the house. So right here. And then we're going to do the signpost, the sign placement line. So you're going to grab your piece of felt. And here's the placement line for the sign. And we are going to put a black bobbin in, so get your black bobbin. Take this out. My white one is almost out anyways. Let's put black in. Whoop. There's my best press. Okay, and here is my felt. Is there a thread under there? And we're going to trim this 1/8 of an inch away. This is step 17. All right, let's get ready to trim. So, 1/8 of an inch. Make it look gorgeous, ladies. And gentlemen, if ever there's a gentleman that joins us. Get. Let's see my handiwork. I think that looks pretty good. If it would focus. There we go. Okay, let's slide her on. So that was step 17. Now we're on step 18. 18 says, stitch the sign scroll work detail. So you're just going to leave the black in. And then you're going to stitch the bottom lettering that says the quilt shop. Oh my God, I can't wait to put those little pennants on. just hit start again. It's going to do some of the lettering. And then you're going to want to get your dark orange, and because we're going to stitch out candy corn. So have that ready, and have your white bobbin because we are going to switch back our bobbins. Okay, so I'm going to put my white bobbin back in. And that came out pretty cute. And now I'm going to put my darker orange thread on. Take out my black. And this is going to stitch out, looks like the word candy corn, the words candy corn. Right, I'm going to take that orange out. I'm going to put my other orange in, and it's going to do a little swirl, and then I think we're done with this line. And this is step 21. Let's get ready to turn our page. We are on page 20 of our instructions. All right, you are going to change your thread out, upper thread to black and bobbin thread to black. So let's go ahead, change out our thread colors. Let's put black in our upper as well. And we're going to stitch the candy corn flower stem. So we're going to have 2 candy corn flowers on top of our roof. I love that there's a quilt shop in this pillow. Okay, we're going to change our bobbin back to white. Wouldn't it be awesome if they came up with a way we could do bigger bobbins? I think that would be great. Or like you could preload them, just like put 10 in at a time. Right. So we have our white in. You're going to put white in the top, and that's going to be your placement line for your mylar. So these are going to be like the mylar flowers that we did on the other embroideries. Okay, mylar placement lines, and get your piece of mylar. You should have a long strip of mylar. Okay, that was like a huge piece of mylar. I cut it down, and I'm using this piece because that's all we need. I'm going to go ahead and tape it down up there. Let me get another piece of tape, and I'm going to put this piece on this one. There we go. Okay, and we are just going to stitch the inner flower. Okay, take out your white. We're going to put our orange in. And then get your yellow ready. That's going to be next. We are 9 minutes into our 35-minute embroidery, and we are 58, almost 5,900 stitches into our 20,000 stitch embroidery. Step 25 of 47 steps. Right, and we're going to take the orange out. And let's put in our yellow. This is going to do the outside petals. And I think we're going to start doing some satin stitching. Okay, so that was the candy corn outer flower fill stitch. Now we're going to switch to black and we're going to stitch the flower outline. Then we'll tear away the excess mylar that's left over. So let's put black back in. This is going to be the flower outline. That outline just makes all the difference. Makes it look so cute. Okay, so you are going to remove the tape. And you're going to remove the Mylar. And again, I think it's easiest to pull in towards the embroidery. That is going to give you your best result, and you'll get most of it off. And we'll have some trimming up to do later. We're going to have to trim up those threads. They're so cute. Okay, so we're going to leave the black in, and it's going to be doing the center of the flowers. And then we're going to be doing the purple. So get your purple ready. Okay, so I'm going to take the black out. We're going to put purple in. And this is going to outline the house. So my thread was super tight on top, and I could just keep going or stitch over this, but I'm going to go ahead and rip it out, and I'll be right back. after this is going to be the window outline, so I have my yellow thread ready to go. All right, after the windows, you are going to do, that was step 30, so we're on step 31. Stitch the first floor window vinyl tack down line, and then we're going to trim. So we've got to place the vinyl first, and then it's going to tack it down in black. And that'll be a nice little accent color. I have all these pieces of vinyl. So let's do this one first. Okay. We're going to trim this at 1/8 of an inch. think of the 1/8 of an inch is right to the outline, like to the edge of the satin stitch is good. Okay. And then it says to place the dormer window vinyl completely covering the dormer windows. And we just need a little itty bitty piece. I'm just going to use this one. I'm just going to place it right there. And I'm not going to have to trim the whole thing. I'll just have to trim 2 sides. I'm going to hit stop so when it goes over to the other one, it won't stitch. I'm going to slide it out and trim it, and then I'll place it again. And since I already placed it 1/8 of an inch, I'm just going to go ahead and trim here, and I'll trim here, and then we'll go ahead and just place it down on the other side. Kind of showing you how I do things. I really try to stick completely to the instructions. Just not good at it. Okay, let's go ahead and put this window down. Whoop. And if that makes you uncomfortable, by all means, tape. Tape. Lay it down so there's tons of room on either side. Especially if you want to make another one. Embellishment kits are on back order for who knows how long. Might have enough to do too, except you don't have the cute little quilts and all that stuff. Okay, so that is the vine. I'm looking at my screen. We're on step number 33, and 33 says stitch the window pane detail stitch, and they have that in black as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And then it's going to be the window sills, and I'm just going to do those in gray. We're halfway through our stitching. All right, let's take our black out. I'm going to put gray in. This is going to be our little window sills. And after this, I think there's going to be a bunch of white. Okay, so let's take the gray out. We're going to put in the white. We are on step 65, which is stitch the porch railing satin stitch. So it's going to be the railing, then the door, and then the door pinwheel window fill stitch. All of those, I'm going to be doing all of those in white. Okay, just hit start. It's going to do an outline stitch around the door. then you can just go ahead and hit start again because it is going to do the door pinwheel window fill stitch. Next color is going to be that darker orange. So go ahead and get your dark orange out. And this is going to have a pinwheel, of course, because it's a quilt shop. So we have to have something quilty here. I'm going to put in my darker orange. And then after this, you're going to want your gray. All right, so I'm going to take the orange out. I'm going to put gray in, and this is going to do the foundation. You're also going to use gray to do the fairy light outlet, the eyelet stitch too. So we're going to use it for this, and then we'll use it for the next stitching. And you can just hit start again. It's going to do the outer fairy eyelet stitches. And next color after this is going to be the purple. So let's take out our gray. We're going to put the purple in. The purple's going to be the Inner Fairy Lights eyelet stitch. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the black back in, and we're going to stitch the roof fence detail stitch. This is step number 42. So I'm going to take purple out. Put black in. All right, let's put our gray in, and I think that is going to outline, so the gray is going to stitch the roof satin outline. Let's go ahead and put that in. Oh my God, that black stitch that just finished the little fence is pretty darn cute. And then after this, we'll go back to purple and then black. And I think we'll finish with black too. We're going to take the gray out. We're going to put the purple back in. This is step 44, and this is the dormer roof satin stitch outline. Grab my purple. That looks pretty darn cute. So I'm going to take out my purple. It is calling for black. And we are on step 57. I mean, sorry, 40. I don't know why I said that. We're on step 45. And this is the dimensional pennant placement line. Here we go, ladies. This is what we've been waiting for. All right, so this is going to be the placement line. It has us doing it in black. So it's very important to read the directions for this next step because I would not have guessed they want us to do it how they're having us do it. But what they want us to do is they want us to place the pennants right side down with the bottom edge covering each placement line. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to cover it. They don't say how much to cover it by, and tape it in place. So I'm just going to cover it over a little, I guess. So I'm going to take this one. I'm right at the edge and now I'll cover it. Let's get my next one. Right side down. I can't imagine they want us to cover it a lot because these are going to have to flip back over. maybe enough to sew it down, hopefully. And all right. And it says tape in place, dimensional pennants will point to top of house. Stitch the dimensional pennant tack down line and carefully remove tape. And then we're going to flip our pennants right side up and tape into place. So let's go for it. Oh, I wonder if mine are too high. And get your tweezers because we are going to remove that tape. Guess we flip them down, tape them back into place. Okay, knowing what I know now, I think I would just take it to that line. Because I would want them to hang a little bit longer. I mean, they're still going to look super cute. But, I think you barely take it to that, barely cover the line. Okay, and now it says to stitch them down, carefully remove the tape. Tape in place. Now we're going to stitch the dimensional pennant tack down and rope detail stitch. I would keep your finger, you know, near the start stop just in case. Just in case it. Just want to make sure. Whoops, like that. Did I? Look at me talking and I didn't even catch it. But you want to make sure these stay down. I think that one's okay. Okay, let's take off your tape. Oh, geez, they are adorable. I love them. Love, 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 love. And go ahead and heat up your iron. We're going to score this one up. So let's go ahead and remove this from the hoop. Okay, accidentally hit the stop button. So let's go ahead and remove our basting stitch first. That means I have to find the seam ripper I threw on the ground. Okay, I'll find a different one. I did drop my favorite seam ripper on the floor. So I'm just going to start down here. Caught a little bit of my... I really like to just pull and then cut that bottom thread when it's exposed. Here we go. I was thinking it's not really pulling away. Okay, let's pop it out. We can get all the rest of those threads later. And let's remove all this tear away. And you know, like I said, the instructions it says to use a medium cutaway, but I don't think this stitch count is so heavy that you need it. And I like being able to tear away all the stabilizer that doesn't need to stay there. But if you want, you can use a medium cutaway as well. Oops, that was the thread I pulled there. And I think I'm good with that. Okay, I'm going to get my best press. I'm going to spray the back. And I'm going to get this nice and flat. Get rid of any wave. And then I will square it up after I'm done with that. And you just want to press until the best press is dry. And until it's nice and flat too. There is vinyl. It's probably going to be fogged up when I turn this around. Sorry, that was my best press falling. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my rotating mat. Let's confirm that we're squaring up to 6.5 by 8.5. 6.5 by 8.5, and you want to be 1/4 of an inch above the inside bottom edge of the ruler. We're going to square it up to the foundation. So my rulers right here. I have my other measuring rulers that give me the 1/4 inch. So I can put that there, line this up, and then let's look left and right. Make sure we have it equal distance. And I'm eyeballing it, but that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to cut. And hold and turn. Uh-oh. I think I was holding that pretty well, so I don't think it shifted. Did it? I think we're good. Yeah, make sure there's nothing that your ruler's going to hit. And there we go. And we'll add that to the rest. So I've kind of got to have them right here. Like this. And now we're going to add this one. And they look so darn cute. Okay, next design that we're going to do is going to be Creep Along. And it's just going to be your background fabric. So let me get that and we'll get started.